Recently, I rented Dragonball Xenoverse 2. Instead of returning it a week later, I just bought it, because this shit is awesome. But I've definitely started to notice the cracks in the design of Xenoverse 2. This game is really oddly made. In this video, I hope to put forward some constructive ideas on how Dimps can improve the Xenoverse formula in future iterations. As I really hope they continue this franchise, I'm having a great time with it. So this video is probably going to be a bit looser and less organized than some of my other videos. It'll be more of a stream of consciousness kind of thing. Hopefully it doesn't get too rambly. On to our first topic.
Transformations.
Why are transformations so motherfucking complicated in this game? What is so complicated about this? It's screaming, and then the color of the hair changes. I really don't understand why transformations such as Super Saiyan God aren't built into characters like Goku and Vegeta. Instead, they're relegated to entirely separate characters, forever locked in whatever primary color state you plucked out of the character select screen. A good example of this is Cell, who is divided into 4 separate playable characters, including fan favorites like Shiny Cell and... what? And even then, that doesn't include his second form, it's just not in there. This problem of a weird lack of in-game transformations is ever present, and is only made worse by the fact that certain non-transforming characters will actually transform during parallel quests. Why can't I do that? So all of this really got me thinking, is this a balancing issue, a mechanics issue, or a greed issue?
Balancing.
Well, first off, Dragon Ball Xenoverse is kind of a weird, experimental MMORPG light abomination, so everything can't be as straightforward as it was in Budokai 3. It must be really hard to program a main menu. Because of this MMORPG-ish genre that Xenoverse 2 has kind of chosen, non-player created characters like Goku and Vegeta must be balanced for fairness in matches both against each other and against custom characters. That seems like it would present a bit of a balancing issue, and having characters that can go from low power to the most powerful thing in the whole fucking universe in a few transformations would definitely throw a wrench in that delicate balance. But hey, Akira Toriyama kinda dug that grave for us, so we just gotta work around it. Personally, I might have just created a separate mode for offline or online battles only using classic DBZ characters, no custom characters, which would make that balance less of an issue if both of the modes were balanced individually. But hey, then you couldn't fight custom and non-custom characters at the same time, and that'd be lame, so maybe not. A main menu would probably make this easier. Hey, how about a main menu?
Mechanics.
If the transformations are a mechanical issue, well... why? There are a bunch of ways this could be overcome. Here, just let me reach into this bag real quick. Option 1. Keep doing it your way, dividing main characters up a few times to fill space, but do it more effectively to cater to transformations. For instance, make GT Goku a character so he can transform from his man-baby self to his man-baby ape self. He could just hop from Super Saiyan 3 to Super Saiyan 4. That's only 2 transformations. It wouldn't have to be 4 whole steps like in Budokai 3. Another example, make Dragon Ball Super Goku his own character, including the Super Saiyan God and Blue transformations while excluding the classic Super Saiyan forms. Not the greatest compromise, though. Option 2. Just do it the way Budokai 3 did it. Sure, maybe that would be inconvenient at this point. Goku has literally had like 7 transformations, and it would be a pain in the ass watching this animation 7 times in a row just to get to Super Saiyan Blue. But making Goku, Super Saiyan God Goku, and Super Saiyan Blue Goku all separate characters is not the answer. Option 3. Customizable movesets for non-player characters. Come on guys, this seems obvious. Custom movesets are already a thing with player characters, why can't they be a thing with classic DBZ characters? Maybe work it out like one of the Call of Duty multiplayer systems, assigning certain powers like 10 times Kamehameha and Super Saiyan God a higher worth and capping the player off after they've assigned too many OP abilities. So there you have it. There's 3 basic ideas for how classic character transformations could be mechanically improved in the Xenoverse threequel. Maybe even in Xenoverse 2 through some heavy retroactive patching. Now remember that third option, the greed thing? Part of my paranoid conspiracy theory lizard brain tells me that Dimps and Toei are holding back these transformations just so they can sequel bait for a 3rd Xenoverse game. Hell, I'd pre-order that shit in a goddamn second if they prefaced the announcement of a 3rd game with "you can transform like a motherfucker and we finally figured out that dastardly main menu." But I'd also be pissed because that's greedy. There's no reason it couldn't have been in this game, unless I'm overlooking something incredibly crucial. If I am, feel free to tell me, I'd love to know. Maybe every time Dimps tried to program transformations into the game, their computers went haywire and started bleeding out of their disk trays.
Customizable transformations.
I really dig the customizability in Xenoverse 2. It is a delight to be a part of Toriyama's world and have the characters of DBZ acknowledge my presence and actions, and I've created a character that I'm genuinely attached to. There's only one more thing that would cement Taffy Toes as the greatest Saiyan of all time: being able to turn into a royal blue, hairy-chested man-beast. I would love to be able to customize my Super Saiyan transformations, and I think everybody else would too. I'm kinda baffled that the developers have made 2 games, especially games like Xenoverse with high degrees of customizability, without including a feature like this. And seriously, man, the fact that the Majin race is stuck with a transformation that literally just smacks you in Kid Boo's body is super fucking lame. Wasn't Boo, like, super stretchy and could change into various forms like Play-Doh? So shouldn't the Majin race have, like, the widest variety of crazy oh, fuck it, nobody's listening to me.
Multiplayer.
I feel like Xenoverse 2 holds quite a bit of untapped potential when it comes to multiplayer. Right now, there's basically 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 battles. That's all well and good, and I dig the bigger 3-on-3 battles, they're hectic and fun as hell, but why no option for something like a 3v1 battle? I'd love to team up with Goku and Vegeta to take down Broly, or Vegeta and Trunks to throw down against the androids. To take it a step past that, why not just give us the option to completely customize our matches? The character customization in Xenoverse is awesome, but the match customization is virtually non-existent. Why can't I increase the size of the health bars for a super long battle, or give certain weaker characters handicaps to balance things out, or change the time limit? These basic, crucial components of all multiplayer games are just completely missing from Xenoverse 2. You just pick a match and do the match. It's simple, and simplicity isn't always bad, but this is too simple. And what about some other modes of play besides just outright battles? What about some kind of capture the flag game, where 2 teams of 3 players try to capture all 7 Dragon Balls and bring them back to their little base thing? You could knock the balls right out of players with charged attacks or special attacks and snatch them up for yourself. It's not a perfect idea, but I'm sure you see where I'm going. A little variation would be nice. Variety is the spice of life, and good game design. Another point I'd like to talk about real quick is local multiplayer. I absolutely love the fact that it exists in Xenoverse, but it's so stripped down that I might as well be playing an arcade game. What I'd love to see more than anything on the local front is some co-op. It would be a blast grinding through PQs with a friend or facing off against famous villains together on the same couch.
Combat.
Don't change a goddamn thing. Well, I mean, maybe make it a little more responsive and add in some more basic combos and super moves, but it's pretty fucking great as is. One of the few things I can really think of suggesting here is a wider variety of attacks that do different things, as well as the ability to assign whatever attacks to whatever slots you want. If somebody doesn't want to use any evasive moves in their build, they shouldn't have to. I've never used this shit. Maybe it would help in combat, but I'm just not into it. Allowing players to manually assign every one of their skills would exponentially increase build variety. We could have entirely key-based, evasive-based, or melee-based characters, which would offer even more incentive to go back and start a new game to try out some different playstyles. Another point, I would love to use non-Z-vanish dodges more often in combat. It would definitely keep my stamina from dissipating as quickly, but at this point the dodge when tapping the left trigger just isn't fast enough or responsive enough to be really useful during the tense, quick matches of Xenoverse 2. But making the normal dodge more responsive might also undercut the Z-vanish, which at this point is a vital technique used in pretty much all battles. Not every character should have to constantly Z-vanish if they don't want to, although that would probably make combat more difficult against heavy Z-vanish and stamina abusers like myself. One final note about the combat. Give me some fucking laser blast struggles. We already have the badass animations for when 2 players attack at the same time. Why isn't there such an animation for when players use a special key blast at the same time? It's been in a bunch of the old Dragon Ball games, and throwing in the beam struggles would just add one more badass tiny extra mechanic. Maybe the loser of the beam struggle gets stamina locked or loses all of their ki. Fuck yeah, give me that shit. But hey, the combat really is fantastic right now, so I'm just gonna stop for a second and give Xenoverse a gold star for that. You know what? Have 2 gold stars.
In conclusion,
I went into this video with a clear, unabashed love for Xenoverse 2, and that hasn't changed, but the process of actually writing all this out and saying it has helped me come to the realization that this game can do a lot to improve. As a pure and simple beat-em-up, Xenoverse is no doubt one of the most entertaining on the market, even more so if you're a fan of the property. But as a whole experience, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 leaves something to be desired. Although with how solid the core gameplay is, I don't see myself dropping it anytime soon. Hopefully there's nowhere to go but up.